Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be going over some of
Never
what I
stop
believe to
fighting
be...
for what you believe in.
Whoa, Anna, thanks for the words of inspiration there. We're going to be going over some of the builds that I think are the worst in Heroes of the Storm. Now, of course, this video is very subjective. It, includes 100% my opinion, right? So you might actually take these builds and do fantastic with them, right? You never know who you're facing, who's on your team. You never know what the circumstances are, right? Any build in any scenario can be great. So I'm just generally speaking
This
over my
is
experience. I'm
much
a
better
master
than
player.
Cabana
Been
on the
playing for 8
beach.
years. I've played something like 23, 24, almost 24,000. Look, 24,000 games. Insane. Anyways, I played almost 24,000 games, and I got to master. It took me 7 years, 6 years. It's a very difficult game to master. It's not easy. Heroes of the Storm relies on a lot of things. Anyways, with all that aside, let's get right into it. So what I figured I'd do is I'd actually go into a little try mode, so I can actually pick these builds and show you. It would be hard. There are about 10 different heroes with poopy builds that I want to show you here, and it would be hard if if I were to record 10 different game clips of me playing every single one of these heroes. So what I figured I'd do is I would just show you in this little try mode thing. Anyways, what we're going to be taking here for what I think to be the worst Ana build is Vampiric Rounds at level 1. Stack 5 doses on an enemy hero or basic attack a hero with 5 doses. Reward. Stack 5 doses to increase strike healing by 1% and basic attack a hero with 5 doses to increase strike healing by 0.25%. So, in other words, all it does is it makes your auto attacks heal you. And it increases the healing of the strike. And strike, basic attacking applies doses, dealing 42 damage over 5 seconds plus additional damage due to the current number of stacks on the target, stacking up to 5 times every 0.5 seconds, and it is healed for 60% of the damage dealt by strike. Now, you can see why this build might be appealing to someone as, that's looking at this, right? Because they're going to say, well, hey, this looks like a great build to do a little bit more self-sustain on Ana, right? To be able to come in here, get these auto attacks, and get some extra healing, right? Maybe I sleep him, walk away. I have, I'm getting some healing, right? And then paired with this level 7 that I think it's this one or this one. I don't know. There's a certain... Okay, here it is. Sleep Dart powers doses. So once you get level 4, let me go ahead and go ahead and do that real quick. So we're gonna get level 4. So once we get level 4,
Choose a talent.
did I accidentally? Wow. Okay, I misclicked my level 1. Hold on. All right, so we need Vampiric Rounds and this one. Okay. So once I have this level 4, what I can do is I can sleep the enemy and it will apply doses, and then I can heal faster. So here I'm gonna sleep him and then auto attack him. And now we've already applied max doses, and now we're getting stacks faster. So you can see how this may be perceived as appealing. Whoops, I missed an off there with the heal. Anyways, you can see why this may be appealing, right? But why is this bad, right? Okay. So as you can see, that whole time that I was working on getting 20 stacks, I did absolutely no healing. So much so to the point where this AI Malfurion out-healed me like 4, 5, 6, 7 times over. Like, yes, I wasn't focusing on healing, right? I was focusing on getting my stacks. But that's the problem with this build, is that it makes you... Ana is a very punishable hero because of her trait, right? When I activate my trait, I walk really slow, but my healing can pierce, right? My sleep can pierce, and my heal can pierce at the cost of me walking really slowly. So, in other words, this build makes you do the wrong things on Ana. You're worried about stacking this quest rather than healing your team. And since you're worried about stacking this quest, and since you're trying to auto attack and get all these stacks with Ana, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting yourself in a much more vulnerable position as healer. And you're probably going to die a lot more. And when you're dead a lot more, that means that you're not there to heal your team. And fundamentally, you're not doing your job. Every time that I've ever seen a Vampiric Round aura on my team, I swear that no matter what the healer is on the enemy team, they've always gotten out-healed. We've always had a huge healing problem. The healer's always dying too much. Okay, there are exceptions to this, right? There are some people that are so god tier at Ana, so good with Vampiric Rounds, that, let's say they have all frontline, and you can stack this like crazy, and you already have another healer. If you have another healer on your team, this is the only excuse for going Vampiric Rounds. But if you're a solo healer Ana, I would completely recommend, for a healer build, I would recommend the grenade build. And if you need some more CC, then I would recommend a sleep build. But going Vampiric Grounds as solo healer is kind of a slap in the face to the rest of your team. I mean, yes, it gives you extra healing, but really it messes up the rest of your team. So let's talk about another really selfish build that people like to go. And this is another healer-based build. And this is an Alex Straza one right here. So let's, hold on, we have to go to heroes. Alex Straza, let's go ahead. So what is the poopy Alex Straza build? Well, the poopy Alex Straza build is, and I'm talking in a solo healer scenario, right? If you're the only healer and you pick E-build Alex Straza, right? There's a big problem because what you're doing is, unfortunately, you're really messing up your healing potential, right? Your W and your Q build are your best heal talents. And when you go E, you're taking away from that. And it's a big problem because a lot of Alex Strazas are going to take this and do no healing, right? They're the only healer on the team. In a double healer scenario, yes, it's totally fine to go the flame buff it slow. And as you can see, like, yes, these builds do a lot of damage, right? As you can see, I'm hitting for 406 with my E. So let's go ahead and set level back to 30 again. We'll pick everything, right? Oh shit, sorry. Actually, what I wanted to do was I wanted to go a different build, right? I'm gonna go healing build. So here's a classic W build, and now I'm gonna hit my E on that Arcus again. So it was hitting for 500, and now look what's it hitting for now? 400. So the E increased my damage baseline by 100. So you increase your damage of your E by 100 plus a slow, whatever else it gives you, on account of sacrificing all of these beautiful heal talents, right? So if you're the only healer on your team, do your job. Do not pick E-build Alex. This is really just messing over your team. You're gonna have way less healing numbers. You're likely gonna lose. So the Ana, the Vampiric Grounds Ana, and the Alex Straza E-build, really greedy builds that you can go as a solo healer, okay? In a double healer scenario, it's a completely different story, right? That's okay to go those builds if you already have another healer, and they're going a full-on healing build, right? Because then every position is filled. All right, next on the list is a W build Falstead. Now, why do you see so many Falsteads going W builds still? Even though it got really nerfed, and it's kind of really a risky, selfish, poopy build now. Well, why? Well, basically W build used to be really broken for a certain period of time, and when it got nerfed, people still had this faith in W build, right? And unfortunately, no one ever actually, a lot of people didn't actually realize that it got nerfed so hard to the point where it's not as effective as the other builds now, right? If I were to fully stack Q and then fully stack a W and sit there and I mean, you know, these are infinite quests, so it's kind of impossible to fully stack. Except for Lightning, W build I think caps at 75, but I think Q goes on pretty much indefinitely. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, let's say that these were, you know, you got some crazy stacks on these. Your Q build is going to do splash damage to everyone, and it still does a huge, considerable amount of damage. I don't know what to go at.
That's what dead looks like.
At 16 here with W build. I don't really go W build, so I don't know. Obviously Wind Tunnel if we were going Gust. If we were going the Hinterland, we might go, you know, the other one. We could have also gone Epic Mount. That's a good one too, but these talents don't matter. What really comes down to is there's this Arthas is an AI, right? We're in try mode. So the Arthas is just walking into us and intentionally killing himself. The point about W build, the reason why it's not as good as it used to be is because it doesn't do that much damage for the risk that you are taking to get it stacked. So most players that are actually decent at this game and are not an Arthas AI that is designed to run into you and feed you are actually not going to let you stack this W. So when you go in here to keep in range of the target, to keep your W, they're going to punish you. And they're going to kill you, and you're going to die over and over. And the XP that you lose is, it doesn't correlate to the extra damage that you're getting with your so-called W build. You know, the extra sustained damage that you're doing and the fear that you instill into people when you're in range with W build. It's not worth it because you're going to die 5, 6, 7 times. And that's going to put your team farther behind than the small amount of damage you've gained from your W build. Okay, so W build got nerfed. It's not as strong, right? And feel free to argue with me in the comments. That's totally fine. All the, you know, constructive criticism is welcome. Or maybe you have another build that you think is bad that you want to comment about. You know, I'm always open to discussion here. And of course, these are my opinions. You don't have to agree with me at all. But the next on the list is auto attack Tassadar. Why is auto attack Tassadar on the list? Well, because Tassadar Q does so much more damage than a fully stacked auto attack Tassadar attacking for like 5 seconds. So realistically, the amount of burst that you can get from taking Q build, it's just always going to be better. And I actually like to go an interesting Tassadar build. There is one auto attack talent that I really do like, which is Resonance Beam charges grant shields. Now, even if I go Q build, I'll still take this auto attack talent. But every other auto attack talent, especially the quest at level 1, is not as good. What is the reasoning behind that? Well, Tassadar's Q at level 7 can put a Psionic Storm there. So let me go ahead and show you the right way to build Tassadar real quick. And what we'll do is I'll show you that there is one good auto attack talent, which is at level 4. But realistically, every other auto attack talent doesn't make sense because you're going to be, again, vulnerable, trying to keep your shields up. So the level 4, what it does is as long as you attack long enough and you keep your Resonance Beam up for a long enough time, it will then give you a shield. So as you can see, I have that shield. The shield's being broken, but it will come right back. As long as I'm auto-attacking, I get that shield. That is a great talent, right? But every other auto-attack talent is not that good. Now look at this build that I've created here. All I have to do is put one Storm down and then one Q. And now look what that did. Not only do I have stacks of Qs, so once I hit people enough with Q, it will get to extra 200 damage on my Q. But also, every time I put a Storm down and then put a Q out, as long as I hit someone with that Storm, it will put another Storm right down. So what would you rather have? A little bit increased auto attack damage? I believe that's what it does. After Resonance Beam and fully charged, it bounces to... Yeah, so an AoE auto attack for 75% of the damage. And then it hits 2 additional targets. So would you rather have AoE auto attacks, or would you rather have 2 giant Psionic Storms that hit for a butt ton of damage and can consecutively have their damage increased, plus a Q that hits for 900 damage? Or would you rather have, you know, those auto attacks? All I'm saying is there are just so many better options, and the way that the W works is it really wants another W to really actually do that increased damage. As you can see, once I use this level 7, it's going to go ahead and it's going to do an additional 100% damage. So that is just always more effective. The burst, the reason why you pick a mage is for burst. It's not for auto attack, right? Tassadar is a mage, so you should build him like a mage, not an auto attacker. It doesn't make sense, okay? Auto attack Tassadar, that's on the list. All right. Now we're going to go on to my main hero. So my main hero is actually Li Ming. I love her. I have something like an 80% win rate with her. I'm just disgusting with her. She's so good. She's one of my favorite heroes. She's always been a solid hero. She hasn't really ever been nerfed to a point where, she's not really good right now, right? She's always been strong as hell. Anyways, let's get into Li Ming and let's get into some of the strong talents. Of course, we're going to talk about Power Hungry at level 1. The spell power, the mana return, that's a double whammy. Another great level 1 we're going to talk about is Force Armor. The mana return from Force Armor when you're below 35% mana is insane. But now, let's go ahead and talk about Missile Build. Well, Missile Build at 16 is actually a fantastic talent. Mirror Ball is so fucking good, okay? Mirror Ball is great. Diamond Skin is also fantastic, and Orb Range is good if you're going Orb Build, right? All 3 of these talents are really, really, really good, okay? This is the only good missile talent is what I'm trying to say. And this one, Force Armor is really good too. I still prefer Power Hungry, okay? But there are games when they have a lot of magic damage, and it will push me over into going Force Armor. Also, if they have a lot of frontline, I know I'm going to be out of mana a lot, so I'm probably going to take this so I can have more mana. But the extra edge on Power Hungry, especially paired with something like Glass Cannon, will really set you over the edge with damage. But the other missile talents, including Charge Blast and Seeker, especially Seeker, are really never worth it. Look, Calamity is a base click ability that does 300 damage. right off the bat, right? If you take Seeker, it only does 140 damage if all 3 missiles hit the target. Do you know how hard it is to hit all 3 missiles on the same target when there's a minion wave in the way, when there's an Asmo minion wave? There's so many millions of things that can get in the way of your 3rd missile.
Anytime
or
now.
you can just miss. And it only does 140 additional damage to your missile damage. Anyways, so realistically, you can miss this, and it really does a negligible or even less amount of damage as Calamity. Now, Calamity is a more vulnerable ability, but you have to use it at the right time, right? Someone is low. It's the thing that gets you the reset guaranteed. You know, you could miss an orb, you could miss a missile, but how are you going to miss a point-and-click Calamity? You right-click on them and they die. So it's just a fantastic ability for getting finishes, and it's consistent. It does a lot of damage. It's hard to miss. So why is missile build quote-unquote bad? Is because there are only really 2 good missile talents on Li Ming. Force Armor and Mirror Ball. Everything else, every other missile talent is negligible. And don't even get me started about Cannoneer, right? Like I said, any talent can be good in the right place. If you're going against a Tracer or a Genji, that's the one argument for, or maybe even a Hanzo. Some people that are hard to hit with your spells, that's the only argument for Cannoneer, right? But other than that, you never want to take that. Illusionist and Glass Cannon are going to be way better. But basically, what it comes down to is that missile build is just not good because there are only 2 good missile talents. So realistically, all the other talents around it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 talents, 5 out of the 7 talents are not going to be that missile build if you're going to be picking a good build. And just so you can see what I think is a good build, it's kind of crazy. I don't like taking Wave of Force. I actually like taking Disintegrate because I prefer that. But this does give you, you know, the right build in the right place. Like I'm saying, you know, if they have a lot of CC, you could definitely gain some use out of Wave of Force. But I really like something like maybe Power Hungry, Orb Reset, or Dominance, Calamity, or if you're going full Orb build, sure, you can go Orb, but this is like one of my least taken talents out of my diversification build. Disintegrate or Wave of Force, depending on what you need. Illusionist or Glass Cannon, Diamond Skin or Mirror Ball, and then Talrasha or Archon. That's really the only build diversity there. And as you can see, there are really no missile talents in my regular build. Sometimes I'll go Mirror Ball instead of Diamond Skin, right? Like I said. But most of the time I'm taking Diamond Skin. If I'm winning, I'll go Mirror Ball because I don't need the extra shield. But what I'm saying is the missile build is kind of on the back burner. It's really not a build. Out of all of her builds, Orb build and Teleport build, it's really on the back burner. And you see people go it, especially that level 7 missile talent, really not worth it. I'm telling you, Calamity, so much better. The Seeker is only really good if you have good CC that can set that up, like a taunt variant or something, right? All right, let's move on to the next really bad build. I'm not going to stay too long on this one because it's just really simple. Level 1, reactive parry on Artanis. It's basically like block. You know, Butcher has block. A lot of heroes have block. And the reason why this is not good is because his other 2 talents at level 1 are just so much better, right? If it's Battlefield of Eternity and it's the Immortal map, then you can take Amateur Opponent, which will increase your damage to the Immortal. Or let's say it's something like Brax's Holdout and you need more wave clear. Then boom, Amateur Opponent. You're a solo lane Artanis Bruiser. You need some better wave clear. Boom, Amateur Opponent's perfect option. Let's say you need some more auto attack damage in the fights. Let's say that, you know, you're not winning the fight in the solo lane. It's rough. Protector Virus. This is the biggest one. This one scales indefinitely. Some Artanis has become disgusting. But reactive parry, there's just no argument really for it. Like, what they have a Tracer and then, you know, your block is instantly gone within a couple charges. It's really kind of a waste of a talent. The only reason why block is semi decent on Butcher at level 1 is because really his other talents at level 1 aren't that good anyways. You know, Q damage to minions, sure, that's fantastic. Or your Q cooldown is reduced by 1 and its mana cost is reduced. It doesn't even cost that much mana anyways. It's not even that fucking good, okay? So, but the only reason why block is actually good on Butcher is because his other talents are shit. But most block talents aren't that good. Spell armor talents, on the other hand, are usually better because you can toggle them on and off. All right, Artanis, over. Reactive parry. E-build Alex, we've already gone over that. Azmodan, let's go over. Okay, Azmodan. Greed build Azmodan. Why is greed build Azmodan bad? Well, in my opinion, greed build Azmodan is bad because even if you're solo laning with Azmodan, there are still going to be times when there's a solo laner in the lane giving you a chance to hit them and the minions. And also, if you look at this, if you look at Gluttony, let's read the description of Gluttony, which I think is the best level 1 and pretty much the only Asmo build. I see some people, you know, suggest Wrath, but I still think Gluttony is the only one. So what does it say? Increase the number of stacks of Annihilation gained by hitting heroes with Globe from 2 to 4. After gaining 200, each enemy hit by Globe reduces its cooldown by 0.25 seconds, doubled against heroes. So once you get 200 stacks of Annihilation, each enemy hit by Globe reduces its cooldown. So that means that if you dunk, even if it's a wave, even if it's just minions, and you dunk them, you will get another dunk a lot faster than if you had any of the other talents, right? So you can just, it gives you solo lane benefits just as much as it gives you team fight benefits. So your Gluttony, Asmodee should be probably in the 4-man anyways, stacking his Gluttony. You know, he really isn't the best solo laner. Once he gets ganked, what is he going to do? He's just going to die. He's just a big fat spider. So realistically, Gluttony it's the most sensible build for him because it gives him cooldown so that if he hits a big wave, he can dunk it again pretty quick, especially with Tireless and boom, that minion wave is gone. It's going to give you a lot of stacks. And it's not like when you take Gluttony, when you hit Q on minions, it doesn't stack. It still stacks. It just gives you the opportunity to also stack on enemy heroes and reduce the cooldown of your dunks. So it's just by far always the better ability, even if you're solo laning. There's really no argument for going greed. Even if you're solo laning, even the fact that the demonic warriors gain 20% attack speed, that's really not that good. The benefits that it gives you are really not that good compared to Gluttony. So it's just bad. Greed is just bad. That's just bad. Simple as that. And that's one of the most on this list. That's one of the things that I feel strongly
Any new
about.
leads for me?
Now we're gonna talk about an ult on Kira. Now, not to say when I first started playing Kira, I always went unrelenting, and let me tell you, I actually destroyed people, especially if you get to level 20 where it can silence. And especially if the enemy team doesn't have a lot of CC, right?
Ugh,
if they
you've
have no
already paid for
CC,
my
you
time.
can just get unrelenting
want
off
to
all
spend
the
it
time and
reading,
just murder everyone.
be
It
my
does so
guest.
much damage. It CCs everyone. This in combination with booming kick, right? This does so much CC. It's insane. But realistically, most teams have even a little bit of CC, one cleanse, one little stun, anything can mess up the Unrelenting Strikes ult and make it really worthless. Until 20, when she gets the silence and no one
Could
can
we
do
get
anything,
to
then it
work?
just destroys
I
everything,
hate
right?
being alone with my thoughts.
But basically, Unrelenting Strikes, I think, is one of the worst talents because it's so easy to interrupt it, right? And then Kira just really has no solution to that, to the interruption. She was counting on that ult to get the CC, kind of like a Dark Conversion Mal'Ganis. But the reason why he's not on that list is because he has the ability to really CC and sleep everyone before he Dark Conversions. Now Kira can too, right?
Ugh,
She can
you've
use her
already
revolt,
paid
her
for my
booming kick,
time.
stun
So if you
everyone
want to
first,
spend it
but she has to
reading,
wait until
be my
16
guest.
until she gets the ability to do that, okay? So that's the reason why Kira gets the L on the Unrelenting and Mal'Ganis doesn't, is because Mal'Ganis at level 1, even at level 10, boom, he's already CC, he's already stun, slept everyone, and then got his Dark Conversion off. But Kira, what can she do? At level 10, when she gets Unrelenting, she can only use her
Could we get to
Revolting
work?
Sweep stun,
I hate
E,
being alone
which only
with my
stuns one
thoughts.
person. So if there's anyone else around, or if that person's done with their stun, and it takes forever for the Unrelenting to actually stun, it takes like 3 seconds almost. So in that time, she could still get stunned. So that's why she takes the L there. All right. But like I said, not to say that it can't be good. All right, let's go on to, I think this is my last one on the list, yeah. The Nazebo, the wuss. All right, well, what happened to Nazebo recently is his spiders build got buffed so heavily, insanely. And then they nerfed it because it was so strong, okay? That's literally what they did. It was so busted that they were like, this is broken. We have to nerf this. But look, it's still really strong, and it's still his only build. So on my list is anything other than spiders. Now, you might want to argue and say, well, hey, there's this crazy time when I got Vile Infection done, and I landed a toad on someone that was a toad of hugeness that just destroyed them, right? But let's rewind and let's talk about everything that needs to come into play to actually get a big toad kill, right? To get insane toad damage and just own with toads. First, you have to be level 20 and you have to have killed over 175 minions to have completed Vile Infection. You have to take Vile Infection, which means you don't get Annihilating Spirit, which is another great talent. So So you have to be level 20. You have to have 175 stacks of Voodoo Ritual. You cannot take Annihilating Spirit. And in addition to that, you have so many other things that you have to do. You also have to hit your toads from range to get the increased damage. So you have to be level 20. You have to have Vile Infection done, which means you have to have killed 175 minions. You don't get Annihilating Spirit Ravenous upgrade. And your toads have to hit from 3 hops. And if all that happens, then yes, the toads will do disgusting damage. But what is really gross about spiders is that spiders do so much damage to anyone, like half their health. And not only that, but spiders give you health and mana. They restore your health and mana. And it spawns more spiders at level 7. And then, even more broken, it reduces all of your basic ability cooldowns. So you can spam another spider. And by far the most disgusting thing is the fact that it's just restoring your health and mana. You hit a spider, it gives you health. It gives you mana. It does so much damage to them. It takes all of their health away, and it gives it to you. And not only that, it reduces the cooldown, so you can just keep doing that over and over again, right? So Nazebo, it's just, the spider is just so busted, right? Now, let's make an argument for things of the deep, right? I like the extra range. It allows me to wall people. The spell power is really good when I use my ult. It gives me extra damage. What else? I can land my abilities from farther and finish kills. I can also play safer because I'm farther away. These are all the arguments for things of the deep, right? But realistically, in Heroes, the best defense is a good offense, right? And awareness, if you're in the solo lane pushing and you know exactly when their team is coming to gank you, awareness is so important, right? But also, the other thing is a good offense is better than a good defense. So if you're in a 1v1 scenario in your solo lane and you have things of the deep, you might be able to play safer. You might be able to outrange your opponent and play safer and just perpetuate the game. But if you take Spider Nazebo, you get that done, and you're landing your spiders, you land a wall, you land a Ravenous, you will get the kill. You will have the opportunity to now push that fort, right? And Gargantuan is good because of siege. It's good at sieging, whereas Ravenous is good at getting kills. And a Spider Ravi build will just murder everything, right? It murders the whole team, but it won't have as much siege potential as Gargantuan, because Gargantuan can tank the fort. It just does a massive siege damage, and it's pretty good. But Ravenous can also do damage to the fort. It just doesn't tank it. So there's always a trade-off. But in my opinion, Spider build Naz is just the way to go, and the other builds just really can't compete. So like I said, this video is all opinion. I really hope that you learned something, or you found something of use or of interest. And if this video helped you out, go ahead and leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any different opinions, right? Let's say you completely disagree, you think one of these builds are great, or maybe I missed a build, or whatever you have to say. Go ahead and leave those comments down below, and I will respond to everyone. Drop me a sub, anything that you could do. They always help out. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/MalibuTiger, and I will try and put out some more videos soon. But thank you guys for watching, and try not to take these talents, especially as a solo healer, okay? I'm telling you, you really got to take what is really needed for your team. That's all it comes down to. Thanks for watching.